Morning all, good morning. How's everyone doing? Hopefully you're all doing it grand. Especially now that we're starting to open up a bit, right? People can sit outside a pub and have a drink. The British obsession with pubs, I just don't get it. Honestly, I don't get it. But look, I'm just happy that things are starting to open up and life is slowly but surely becoming normal again. That's it. Gym was yesterday, first day back, loved it. Absolutely loved it. So yeah, better days ahead, people, better days ahead. Liam Williams is fighting this weekend against Demetrius Andrade, right? So what am I saying? Yeah, so Liam Williams is fighting against Demetrius Andrade, and it's a Brit in a world title fight against a fight that I think he's actually got a decent chance of winning. Demetrius Andrade's favourite, of course, right? He's the 2-weight world champion. He's unbeaten, blah-de-blah, blah-de-blah. But I think Liam Williams has got a chance. What I'm getting at is there's not much hype for it. Like, even from a British perspective. So, look, Americans aren't going to get excited about Liam Williams. We understand that, right? They're not going to oversell it. They're just thinking this is an easy day's work. That's their faults, right? It's an easy day's work for Demetrius Andrade. But we over here know it isn't. So you'd think that we would be a bit more excited about it. Yeah. We'll talk about that fight. You know, we're going to do a separate video about that fight because we're going to give it the push it deserves. We're going to talk about it because I actually think Liam Williams does have a good chance. I was super high on Demetrius Andrade. I'm not anymore. I think he's stalled a bit. I think he's stalled and I think he's gone a bit stale. That's what I think. So we'll see. I do think Liam Williams looks a lot better at 160 than he did at 154. Looks strong, looks aggressive, and he's going to put it on Andrade. He's going to put it on him. So, yeah, I feel like that should be getting a bit more hype. I don't know if it's because it's Frank Warren fighter and maybe we've been talking about the promotion of Frank Warren fighters for a long time, maybe, but I don't even think Matchroom have really pushed it from their end for the Demetrius Andrade end either. Maybe they see it as a bit of a walkover, a bit of a gimme fight, right? Maybe they think, he gets past this one and there's bigger things for him. Maybe. Talking about bigger things, there's nothing bigger, is there, than AJ Tyson Fury. Look, I think the fight's happening. I did a Boxing Social podcast with Rob Tebbett yesterday. He thinks it's happening, but not yet. He thinks they maybe go and have one more each, then sort of meet later on in the year. I think it happens next. I really do. Tyson Fury's now in America, started camp. He's in America. He looks in great shape, by the way. I don't think I've ever seen him this lean. He might have overtrained. Remember, he's not had a fight for a while. He would have had a training camp in the lead up to the Pacquiao fight that didn't happen in December. He's obviously tailored off a bit, and now he's ramped it up again. He looks in really good shape. So yeah, he started camp for a reason. I mean, he's not going out to Miami for no sake. Is my camera bent? Anyway, I don't know. But he started camp for a reason. So I think this fight gets done. I really do. Would Fury want one in between? Yeah, he would want one in between. Would Fury want the best part of 80 million, 100 million? Yeah. So I think he would forego that one in between for that big paycheck. Remember, he signed a deal with Top Rank and ESPN that was like, it was like a 5-fight deal for 80 million. He's probably going to get this in one fight. So yeah, all that talk about Fury would want one more in between. No, Fury wants money. And this will be, as big as it gets, right? They both have now received the site fee offers. AJ tweeted that. And now this is it. This is it. It might not be as big and as large as they want. It might not be. But I think it's going to be pretty big. I really do. Now, there are a few question marks. And the question marks for me are, and Rob brought this up yesterday, it was a very good point. If you're going to Saudi Arabia and fighting in or anywhere in the Middle East, right? And because they're talking about this fight in July, it is boiling with a capital B. Should the weather derail this fight? I would like not to think so. Like, it's boiling. We were over there in December and it was boiling. Hence why the World Cup in Qatar, which is normally obviously a summer thing, the World Cup, has been moved to our autumn/winter because that's how hot it is over there. So I don't think that's gonna like stop a fight from happening, but those are things. Can Brits fly over there in and around that time? I'd like to think the world will be opened up in a couple of months, so I do think they can fly over as well. Personally, like I said this, look, I know it's not going to happen at Wembley. I know Sadiq Khan, the mayor of London, has said, look, we can make it happen over here. Like, Eddie basically get in touch. It ain't going to happen over here just because you can't have 90,000 to 100,000 at Wembley. So scupper that. I want the Middle East over America. I don't want to. I'm saying that. I'm going. What am I talking about? I'm going. But I don't want to have to, if I don't go, fingers crossed I do, I don't want to have to wait up to 5 a.m. to watch 2 Brits fight. No, and I don't want 2 Brits fight in America either. I don't want them to have it. No. So I'd rather it be in the Middle East where the fight will happen around our time, right? The fight will happen over there around 7, which will be around 10 over here. So yeah, I'm a firm believer this fight gets done. Firm believer. And again, the main reasons are, the main reason is money. It's money. People can say whatever, like all the other excuses are money. Everyone loves money. This fight generates so much money. Everyone's going to want it. Even if it isn't ideal, even if it isn't an ideal location, ideal weather, ideal preparation, money oversees all of that. That's the biggest factor. It's the biggest thing. It's the biggest thing. Even Fury, who's not fought for 18 months. What? How much? What? 80? Don't worry. Don't worry. Oh, it's going to be in 100-degree weather. How much is it? 80? Don't worry. Money. Money. Right. The idea of rolling the dice and letting AJ fight Usyk is just not for me. Not for me. I think AJ will beat Usyk, but I just don't want it. I don't want the risk of it. I don't want the risk. I mean, the only other thing is that AJ vacates the WBO, which he very well could. But I don't want that as well. I want undisputed, all the belts, them two walk into the ring. Please. Am I asking for too much? Look, to be fair, this thing was always going to be difficult to make. Like, these big fights are difficult to make. Why are we in boxing pretending they're not? Big fights are always difficult to make. Like, it's just how it is. I mean, at least we, and I say we as in Brits, are getting our big fight. America, I mean, there's not even been talks of Errol versus Crawford. Like, as much as we're like, oh, for fuck's sake, come on, Joshua Fury. There's not even been a discussion about Errol versus Crawford. And when there even was, it was just shut down. Like, it was shut down between both fighters, right? Thinking they want this split or that split. At least we're close. So look, super fight, and it is a super fight, I think it's going to happen. It's not a clickbait fucking thumbnail. I believe it's going to happen. I mean, Tyson Fury in the interview with Michelle Joy Phelps on Behind the Gloves pretty much says he thinks it's going to happen. You heard him. That's not me making shit up. He said it. He thinks the fight's going to happen. He did put a deadline on it. He's been doing these deadlines. I don't know why he's doing these deadlines, by the way. It's funny. But he thinks it's going to happen. Eddie thinks it's going to happen. AJ thinks it's going to happen. You saw AJ's tweet. Me and my management company are trying our absolute hardest to make the fight. Going to happen, people. Just stay positive, right? Stay positive. F all the negative talk. And stop all the, I don't know why you guys do that. This person's scared, that person's scared. Eddie doesn't want the fight because if AJ loses, that's it for Matchroom. It doesn't work like that. Or Fury doesn't want the fight because of, stop it, they're fighters. They're fighters. Right. So what if AJ loses? Do you know what I mean? Why do we hang our hats on those things too much? So what? He's lost already. He lost already to someone he was never supposed to lose to. And now all of a sudden, 2 fights later, he's in the biggest fight in British boxing history. You can lose and come back. Not a problem. Not a problem. Look, if AJ doesn't fight Fury, there is a good chance that the other two fights that have been mentioned aren't too bad either. I won't be happy with them, don't get me wrong, because I know what I want. But there is talks about AJ versus Usyk, which you know, and AJ versus Dillian White. Dillian White getting his world title opportunity and that fight happening. I mean, not too upset about that. Fury's the one, I don't know where he goes. Fury could literally fight fucking, I don't know, mate. Fury, look, we know what Fury does in terms of how he picks his opponents, right? He could fight anybody. And I mean that in the nicest of ways. I mean, he fought Tom Schwartz. And has Tom Schwartz actually fought since then? I think he has. Let's have a quick check at Tom Schwartz's record quickly. Okay, he's had a couple of fights. Tom Schwartz, after the Fury loss, he fought a guy called Radek Varak, who was 6-7. Then Ilya Mesenev, who was 20-1 in Germany. Anyway, we move on. I feel like I'm digressing here. We move on, and that's it. And that's it. What's this? Bit here about Pacquiao. It says potential Crawford conquest adds new layer to Pac Mayweather debate. It doesn't add a layer at all. If Manny Pacquiao was to fight Crawford and beat him, there is no layer, there is no debate. No one bring anything to me. If Manny Pacquiao at 42 fights Terence Crawford, the number 2 pound for pound fighter on the planet, unbeaten, world champion, and beats him, sorry, you're going to need to come with the best lawyer, the best boxing historian to my door and convince me that Mayweather should be higher than Pacquiao in the all-time list. I'm not having it. Not having it. No siree. No siree. Understand it. Manny Pacquiao fights Terence Crawford and beats him. There is no debate. I'm not having it. I mean, look, there's always a debate. Let me calm down, Addy. There's always a debate, but I'm not hearing your debate. Not hearing it. This one seems to be gathering some pace. I don't know about this fight, you know. I mean, I don't know if Conor Benn could tempt Amir Khan to fight him just by goading him. Don't think so, but we'll see. Conor Benn, I'd like to send Amir Khan out to retirement nicely. I'm split on who, like, spoke to Gareth A. Davis yesterday. He thinks Conor Benn not easily wins, but wins. Rob Tebbett says he thinks Conor Benn wins. I mean, yeah, maybe he does. Maybe I'm just wrong in the way I'm looking at it, but I wonder if it could happen. I do wonder. It's a perfect opponent, isn't it, for Conor Benn? Like a veteran on the way out. It's kind of what you want. I don't know. Look, it's pay-per-view. The funny thing is, yeah, is there more money? Hear me out here. Is there more money in Khan versus Benn as opposed to Khan versus Brook now? Might be. There could be more people interested in Khan versus Benn now than Khan Brook. How crazy. How crazy. Frank Bruno backs Tyson Fury to beat Anthony Joshua. I don't like that backs. Because it's not, Frank Bruno thinks Tyson Fury will beat Anthony Joshua or favours Tyson Fury. Backs is almost like, I'm supporting him. It's not how I read the article, it's not how it was worded. So yeah, it's a bit of like, see, that's why people don't really trust journalists. I think a lot of people are going to favour Tyson Fury to beat AJ. A lot. It's not, this isn't new. It's a good fight though, isn't it? That's what matters. It's a good fight. 55-45, said it. It's got closer. It's got closer for me. 55-45. Dillian White, not against the scenario of facing Ngannou for UFC. Move on, please. Jesus Christ, man. Bit more here. This is getting really interesting. This Clarissa Shields Savannah Marshall situation. I like the fact that both of them are chirping now. Savannah Marshall isn't one to chirp. We know Clarissa certainly is. Look, there's two schools of thought here. The one I tweeted, which was, if you really want to push female boxing, put this on the undercard co-main of AJ versus Fury, right? Now, a lot of people are like, yeah, makes sense. There were a few that said no. Like Sam Jones was like, no, it deserves to be its own standalone fight. Now, the problem with it being its own standalone fight is it's not a pay-per-view event. Like, people aren't going to pay for this. You might think they will, and people might say, Addy, they will. I don't think they will. And then I don't know if you can pay, especially what Clarissa's asking for. I think she's talking about $5 million. You can't pay that for your normal Saturday night fight card. You can't, right? Those people aren't getting M's. Those people are getting hundreds of thousands, not M's. So for me, as much as I agree, like you want its own standalone fight, so it's not all about AJ Fury. A lot of it will be about Clarissa versus Savannah. It's not a big enough fight to be its own standalone pay-per-view event. It's a big enough fight for its own standalone Saturday night fight card, not pay-per-view. I feel like if you put it on AJ Fury, you can then maybe, you can give the money they want, right? And it will still get a lot of heat. It'll still get a lot of press. It will. Yes, AJ Fury will take the bulk of it. Obviously, it's AJ. You ask the girls if they want to be on the biggest fight card in British boxing history. I think they will say yes. I honestly believe they would say, yeah, please. The only problem is, obviously, if it's in the Middle East, then it ain't happening, is it? They're not letting females fight there. I don't think. I'm not sure, actually. With that statement, I'm not sure. Because I think they might. I mean, don't they let females play tennis over there? I don't know. Jaron Ennis, I think I might have to be a mandatory challenger to get a title shot. Well, he's good to go now, isn't he, Jaron Ennis? I mean, I think people are getting a bit excited about that Lipinets performance. Just because Lipinets, for me, Lipinets was 140 IBF world champion, yeah? He beat a guy that was a vacant belt, beat a guy that was, I think, 26-7 or something for the title, and then lost it immediately to Mikey Garcia. So yes, he was a world champion, but, extenuating circumstances. I don't rate Lipinets high enough to give Jaron Ennis super plaudits. Jaron Ennis got him out of there as he should, right? Lipinets is tough. That's the one thing I will say. Lipinets is tough, and Jaron Ennis put it on him, put the beating on him. But yeah, I don't know. Let me have a look at who Jaron Ennis is, like his resume quickly. 1 second. Because I've done this before. I've got super excited about fighters before. And look, the step up to the next level is a big one. All right, so this is his resume, yeah? So Lipinets, Chris Van Heerden was before that. Abreu was before that. Iyubov, Fernandez, Mamani, Serrano, and Armando Alvarez. Do you see what I'm saying? This is again, I'm not discrediting, I'm just trying to say, there isn't much on there for me. For a lot of people talking about Ennis and like world title shots. I'm like, there's a couple in between. There's a couple of, we talk like Cavillasquez type, that in between. Benavidez who fought Crawford, that in between. Do you know? Beat one of those guys that I think are top 15, then all right, I'll get excited. I'm like, okay, I see something here. They're tough as well, really tough. Tough as old boots, as they say. Then I'm like, all right, then there's the next step, right? Whether or not Danny's going to stay at 147, he has been talking about 154. Then there's the Porter step. And then, you're doing well, Crawford Spence. Anything else? I saw someone sent me, one of my good friends in South Africa sent me something about Shakur Stevenson, who's fighting a guy that I commentated on in South Africa for his next fight. Let's have a look. Yes, Jeremiah Nakatalia, who's 21-1. He's good, but he's not ready for for Shakur Stevenson. I'm trying to think of what fight. Okay, that's it. I commentated on his fight in 2018 against Prince Diomo. Yeah. and one of his other fights as well in Namibia. Okay, well, look, good luck to him, man. You got to take this step right. He's not lost since 2016. Yes, he's not fought at the level, nowhere near it, but good luck to him. Hopefully he gets a decent paycheck as well. All right, guys, we are done. We're going to have a quick fresh and go to work. Peace and love.